Page 26. So yesterday we went and we spoke about why do we have to work for our livelihood, which was on page 27. And we spoke about the three categories of competition, or we started. We only said the two of them of competition. We're going to speak about now the exception, which is Talmud Torah, and then putting your competitor out of business. And that's what David was speaking about right now. So the exception of Talmud Torah, you remember we spoke about that there's going to be sometimes where it's that anybody could do certain tactics. So for example, you want to come and you want to give out candies, or you want to do buy one get ones, or you want to do all these different things. There's no isur for somebody to do that. Why? Because everybody could do it. So if everybody could do it and you want to do special sales, you're allowed to do the same thing, because as long as they could also do it, so therefore there's no isur. What about by Talmud Torah? An exception, right? Page 26 on the top. An exception to the general rule that a non-local is not allowed to compete with local businesses, right? The teaching of the exception is going to be the teaching of Torah. Why? The Gemara says that when it comes to teaching Torah, competition is always permitted due to the dictum of kinat sofrim tarbe chokhmah. The more of that there's going to be jealousy between the rabbis, between the rebbeim that they're coming and teaching Torah, the better that it is. Tarbe chokhmah, it's going to bring even more chokhmah, right? So he says competition increases the quantity of what everyone's learning, the quality, sorry, of everyone's learning. Hence, anyone is allowed to offer a service related to teaching Torah, even if he lives outside of the city, and even if he's going to be putting existing Torah teachers in the city out of business completely. Regarding this rule, the Chazon Ish states, is dictum, that one must know the halacha before taking action against the competing business one views as a threat. Typically, if someone from out of town would open up a store to compete with locals and harm their business, it would be permitted to take action to shut them down. However, if someone is out of town were to open up a new school to teach Torah, and the locals would try to shut them down, they would be the ones that are acting inappropriately. So, for example, a school. You want to open up in a school. That's why I'm very, very happy when there's new schools. I'm thrilled when there's new schools. Why? Because whenever there's going to be new schools, the other schools are going to come and they're going to have to start picking up their game. What does that mean? Because now there's so much more. Beforehand, there was only, let's say, two religious schools. So if there's only two religious schools, so they have a monopoly. They do whatever they want, and that's it. But once all of a sudden they start opening up new schools, right? And each time there's a newer one, and another one, another one, another. So that's actually very, very good, because then it's going to cleanse out and it's going to make it that be'emet they're going to have to pick up their game, and there's going to be more learning of the Torah. So that's why by the Torah, it's always going to be permitted, right, to do this competition, as they say. So no problems of opening up schools. Okay, what about putting your competitor out of business? So this is, I think, one of the most important ones. This is what David was speaking about before. Or that, for example, here, for example, if they would come and they would open up a competing business, right? Obviously, two cannot survive. Yes. So number 3 says now like this, putting your competitor out of business. Okay, so he says like this, although as mentioned, it is permitted for a local resident to open up a competing store that will cause loss in profits to an existing store, there's notable exception to this rule. According to the Avi Asaf, you remember we brought down this Avi Asaf, which was quoted in the Mordechai Batra, that if one would completely put out the existing store out of business by opening a competition, it would be forbidden to open up. Okay, so that's going to be forbidden. Bezrat Hashem, we're going to give the example of the Avi Asaf tomorrow, Bezrat.